Hey guys, it's Evan here. I just watched the reveal of the Nintendo Switch. I couldn't tell you when I've seen a console fuck up that bad. That's worse than Xbox One's initial reveal. It's worse. There is no way this is going to be the thing that brings them back. There's no way. You know what this is? This is Nintendo giving up on the console market and hedging all their bets with what's been working for them. Handheld. And then they're just sticking it on a cradle so you'll feed it to the TV, and people that don't give a shit about their mobile market, their handheld market, will buy it like it's a console. But it's not a console. It's a handheld with a deck that transfers the signal to the TV. Because if it's anything more than that, you know, you've heard these rumors about how the handheld portion of it and the dock is going to have different processors, and so when it's plugged into the dock, it's going to be more powerful. Do you realize that guarantees no third-party support? Because, say for example, Activision. Activision is not going to take Call of Duty and Infinite Warfare and not only have to pare it down already so that it'll work on the Switch, but have to fine-tune it and essentially make two different versions of it that'll run on the handheld, the mobile's hardware, and the dock's hardware. So I don't think that rumor is true. I think that what you see is what you get. You've got the tablet, and it plugs into a dock, and that sends the signal to the TV. I mean, we already looked at the specs on the thing. It's running on a Tegra processor. That's a mobile processor. No third party. Third party gone. Third party gone. The only thing you're going to get out of third party is games that are uniquely made for it. Games that are uniquely made for it. Because no one, after what happened with the Wii U, is going to want to make a pared down version of their third party mega hit to make it run on that hardware. And speaking of the hardware, who is this thing designed for? Because you know what was the first thing I noticed when watching this 3-minute trailer? No children. There's no children in the video for a Nintendo handheld. It's all adults playing it. You see a guy, flying onto some business trip, and he takes it out and he flips down the little one kickstand, which means that because it's only got one kickstand on one side, the slightest little brush on the other side is going to cause it to lose its balance and teeter over. They couldn't put two kickstands on it to give it some sturdiness, But you see this one guy on the airplane playing it, and he's playing Skyrim, a 5-year-old game, Skyrim. Then you see some lady that's playing it at home, and she goes to her window and she sees all of her little friends having a tea party or something on the roof of the building next door. So she goes and she takes her little handheld pieces and slides them on there and takes her game as is out there. Again, an adult situation where that kind of gaming would most likely not occur. Then you see a bunch of guys playing a game of pickup basketball, street basketball. They stop playing, they go and they sit down at a picnic table, and not only do two of them have this wonderful Nintendo Switch device, but those devices obviously talk to each other so you can play multiplayer on the go, and you see them slide those little sides off of there and turn them sideways, and you have these grown men next to a basketball court with these tiny little controllers like this, playing video basketball when they just got done playing the real thing on this screen like this, huddled up around it, crowded up around it, shoulder to shoulder with these tiny little little person-sized controllers that look even smaller than the original NES gamepad. And you notice when you watch that you know, each side, it's each side that slides off. And so when you slide the left one off, what they've replaced the directional pad with, 4 little buttons, you turn it sideways and that becomes its ABXY. Right? So each controller only gets 1 analog stick, and you show them playing 3D games with it. 3D multiplayer games with this tiny little thing with 1 analog stick. Now, I don't know about you, but I remember what 3D was like on the N64 with 1 analog stick. And I remember what 3D was like on the Dreamcast with 1 analog stick. It's annoying as it is with a full-size controller, much less sitting shouldered up next to some guy looking at this tiny little screen with this itty-bitty little tiny-ass, barely bigger than a matchstick fucking controller. Are you out of your goddamn mind, Nintendo? No one's gonna play it like that. Do you know, when you see people in Japan playing their handhelds, sure, you'll see them sitting down like the scene from the airport where they're sitting in the lobby and they're playing a game with each other. You see that. But these big groups of people that are just, you know, pushed together like they're a can of sardines with these tiny ass little control. No. And you know what else that means? That means that this device, it's got to be ARM processor. It's got to be. You know, there's no way that they're going to do x86. It would suck up too much battery power. It's got to be ARM or some other mobile solution. It has to be. But when you look at it, you've got these 2 little side things that are going to slide off and become individual controllers, like you see the guy playing with it in the airplane. That means that they're going to have to communicate with that device via Bluetooth or wirelessly. So they're going to have their own. They're going to each have to have their own little transmitter, and the tablet is going to have its own receiver. And that also means that each individual piece is going to have its own rechargeable battery. So you're going to have a rechargeable battery for the screen, a rechargeable battery for this side of the controller, a rechargeable battery for that side of the controller. That's a lot of batteries that are going to go dead after a few years. You know? I mean, it's not thick enough to be running on AA. And speaking of how thin that thing is, it's very thin. It's a pretty thin tablet for what it is. I'm wondering how the storage is going to work on this thing, because it shows them, just like the rumors, playing games that they're loading off of an SD card looking device. And it shows them playing games from the Wii U. It shows them playing Zelda. It shows them playing Splatoon. It shows them playing Wii U's Mario Kart. And then it shows what looks like a brand new Mario game. It's not Mario Galaxy 3 because it's not rounded worlds. It was flat worlds. And it also wasn't 2.5D, so it's not a sequel to 3D World. It looks like a new big world Mario 3D game. But, you know, these Wii U games, they're on 50 gig discs. So in the least, Nintendo is going to have to be able to fit 50 gig games on these little SD cards. The compression, it's got to be some kind of proprietary compression technology, because the compression needed for that, to avoid those being expensive as fuck, has got to be extraordinary. I just don't know, man. I just don't know. There's no way this thing's going to have third-party support out of the gate. I mean, yeah, you see them playing Skyrim, a 5-year-old game on it. Skyrim. But even Skyrim, if you're talking about the newer version, the version that's coming out for the consoles here soon, that's probably what, 80, 90 gig game. I mean, you got games that are coming out for the PS4 and the Xbox One now that are over 100 gig in size. But you got these little bitty cartridges. So, how's it going to work? Is it going to be compressed data, and then when you pop it in, the actual game is transferred to some kind of solid state drive that's in that tablet that it's actually going to run the game off of, so it'll run with decent load times? And, just having the cartridge in there is their form of copy protection, that it won't run it off the tablet without the card being plugged in. Kind of like similar to the Vita. And never mind the fact, this is not anything new. This technology already exists. It was shown at trade shows like a year ago, over a year ago, from some upstart company that it never made it past prototype because they couldn't find anyone that was willing to market it. They couldn't find anyone that was willing to buy into it. And Nintendo was probably one of the companies they went and showed it to. And what do you know? Here comes Nintendo with the exact same fucking thing. A gaming tablet with slide-off controls. And they look terrible. They look cheap. They look like the little controllers that came with my Retron 2 or my Retron 1 way back when the Retron 1 came out. Those little bitty black controllers, that's what they look like, but with an analog stick on it. Even worse, they look like they were made by the same design team that did the controller for the Ouya. It looks like a square Ouya controller that's been cut in half. And then you've got this little piece that's for when you want to plug the tablet into the dock. You've got this little square piece that you slide the two on and it becomes a controller. Or if you don't want to do that for whatever reason, maybe, I don't know, because now you're having to assemble your controller every time you want to play. You're having to keep track of 3 different pieces and with a kid, you're going to have a kid. You're going to spend money for a kid to have this thing with all these little pieces that they're going to have to keep track of. Come on. No. When 8th was the age to where he was really into the 3DS, it was hard enough time him keeping track of one device, much less one that you have to put together like a fucking Lego. But they showed that they have another controller that you could buy for it, and it looks like a Taiwanese ripoff of the Xbox One controller. It looks horrible. I know that there's going to be some die-hard Nintendo fans out there that are going to be posting videos right now, yelling and screaming with their stupid reaction videos where they're overreacting to everything that's shown on screen, and they're screaming like little kids with tears in their eyes at the wonder of this device. And it's absolutely abominable. There is nothing new to this. You can go out and buy gaming tablets now that hook up directly to your TV. Don't even need a dock. Plug it right into your TV. You can get a third-party wireless controller that it'll interface with. Same results. But here's something else that I noticed. When you're watching the video, I didn't see any touch gameplay. You got this big-ass screen. And I never saw anyone do anything touch related with it, which makes me question if it even has touch capability. I don't understand what market this is for. It seems like they thought, well, this Pokemon Go thing is taking off like hotcakes, so let's make a handheld that looks like a cross between a tablet and a phone, but not give it the functionality of a tablet or a phone, not even talking about playing it online when you're on the go, because it's not going to have a mobile network to it, which means you're going to be stuck looking for a Wi-Fi hotspot to be able to play games online. And let's hope that when we give it a dock, that the people that were hoping for us to get back into the market with something equally powerful after the Wii U failed will go out and buy it thinking it's actually a console. This is a fail, folks. It is a fail. It is a fundamental fail from its very design and inception. It's not going to be embraced by third-party developers. This system will end up being just like the Wii U, the best system by default to play Mario, Zelda, Metroid, etc., because it'll be the only place that you can play those games. I don't even want to know what they're going to charge for this thing, but it better not be over $199. I'm just saying, it better not be. God, I'm disappointed. I wanted so bad for those rumors about what this thing was going to be to not be true. And there were so many people saying, there's no way this is what NX is. There's no way, because this technology already exists and no one bought it. This is just, everyone saw that device and thought it was the new Nintendo device. It's going to be something totally different and amazing. Maybe even have some VR element to it. No. It's exactly what the rumors said it would be. It's a mobile tablet with controllers that's impersonating a console. And it's going to flop. I couldn't be more disappointed. Couldn't be more disappointed. I'm disgusted by it. I'm fucking sickened by it. Let me know what you think in the comments. I don't even want to talk about this anymore. This is 7th.